The last month of Friday Night Smackdown has been relatively forgettable to say the least. But when it comes to last night's episode, man did that break the trend because it was such a banger. Whether it was the WWE teasing a Kevin Owens heel turn, the Street Profits versus DIY, which is what I consider to be a 5-star match, or even Jacob Fatu returning and attacking Roman Reigns. All of this is stuff that we're going to talk about in today's video. And as always, if you guys love wrestling and WWE content, consider subscribing to this channel because we'll be posting 2 or 3 wrestling videos every single week. To start off this episode of SmackDown, we had Tiffany Stratton and Pretty Deadly introducing Nia Jax to the ring, and I gotta say, they presented her like a true champion, like a true beast, and a lot of people were hesitant about a Nia Jax title run, myself included, but this is a great start. We even get to see a little preview of the Pretty Deadly musical, and I honestly didn't know if this was gonna be an on-screen thing, but it turns out it's gonna be, which is fantastic. I think it's going to be really funny to watch. But yeah, as we all know, Mi Chin comes in. She destroys the whole entire set. She takes a kendo stick to Pretty Deadly, to Tiffany Stratton, to Nia Jax, and she ruins the whole entire segment. And of course, later on in the night, we see that she's going to be getting a title shot against Nia Jax, most likely at Bash in Berlin, because of her actions in this segment. And I've got to say, I'm super satisfied with that because Mi Chin is honestly super underrated. She's a great in-ring worker, and it's going to be great to see her go against a bigger and stronger force such as Nia Jax. But yeah, we weren't sure if Nia Jax was going to be defending her title at Bash in Berlin, but obviously this is how they're leaning towards. It's going to be Mi Chin versus Nia Jax at Bash in Berlin at the end of this month. Next, we got to see a backstage segment with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and they're just talking mad shit about Kevin Owens. And then, in wrestling fashion, Kevin pops up behind them and overhears them. So this obviously leads to a match between Grayson Waller and Kevin Owens. And in this match, we see a lot more of a ruthless Kevin Owens than we've seen over the past couple years. We've seen a soft Kevin Owens these last 4 years, but between him bringing up the pop-up powerbomb and him even trying to further attack Grayson Waller after the match, it's almost looking like they're teasing a Kevin Owens heel turn. And of course, we got to see Austin Theory and Grayson Waller attacking Kevin Owens. In wrestling fashion, Cody Rhodes comes out to help. He chucks the belt in the middle of the ring to help Kevin Owens. They obviously handle A-Town Down Under pretty easily because, in babyface fashion, that's just what happens. And we see Kevin Owens pick up the belt and almost kind of look at it like, I want this. This is a different side of Kevin that we haven't seen in a long time. And I would be ecstatic if they pull the trigger on a Kevin Owens heel turn at Bash in Berlin. I've been saying it. Let Cody Rhodes win this match, go in for a handshake, and have Kevin go for a low blow. Have Kevin just deck him. Have Kevin do something to just make it blatantly obvious he's done with this. He's done being disrespected. He's done being downplayed on this roster. Because at the end of the day, Kevin Owens' best work was as the prize fighter, and we need to get back to that because we need more people like that on this Friday Night Smackdown roster. And if Kevin were to turn heel, this would make things a lot easier for Randy to also turn heel with him because we know that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are on-screen tag team partners. So if Kevin goes ahead and turn, it would make it more likely for Randy to also have a heel turn against Cody. And that's inevitably what we all want. We want to see a heel Randy Orton versus a babyface Cody Rhodes, whether at Royal Rumble, whether it's Survivor Series, WrestleMania, SummerSlam next year. Whenever it happens, it's going to be one of the best feuds that wrestling has to offer because it's 10, 15 years in the making at this point, and it's just going to be so good. But the only way to get the full storytelling aspect of it is if we have a heel Randy Orton. It's just this feud isn't going to catch as much traction as it would if Randy was a heel, whether he just stays a babyface. It just wouldn't work. To move on from that, I want to talk about what I consider to be the most recent 5-star match in history, and that was the Street Profits versus DIY for the #1 contenders match for the tag team titles. To start this match off, we had Johnny Gargano and Montez Ford in the ring, and from the very get-go, they just clicked. They had immediate chemistry like I've never seen before. And I mean, it makes sense because they're 2 of the best in-ring workers in the entire company. There's a reason why they call him Johnny Wrestling, and there's also another reason why we've been wanting a Montez Ford singles run for just about 2 years now. These guys are 2 of the best workers in the company, and they proved it last night. And between the 4 or 5 false finishes that we got in this match, there were 3 or 4 times in this match where I was like, DIY winning, Street Profits winning, and they really had me on the edge of my seat just not knowing who was actually going to win this match. And that's just unusual. You can usually tell between how a match is going, who's going to win, unfortunately, once you become, an older wrestling fan, I'm 20 years old, I've been watching wrestling for 14, 15 years. So once you become, an older wrestling fan, it's easy to predict these matches. But that one, I had no clue, man. I really couldn't tell you who I thought was going to win that match until the Street Profits ended up actually winning. And this is awesome because I love the Street Profits, and I would love to see them winning these tag team belts. Now, we know that they're not going to take it off the Bloodline just because they're not going to take these belts off that main event feud, which is unfortunate. I wish they would stop putting these tag team titles on main event feuds that really don't even need them. But regardless, it's still going to be fun to see, a hypothetical match with the Street Profits and Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. That match is going to be amazing, whether we get it, on an episode of Friday Night Smackdown, or even if we're lucky enough to get it at Bash in Berlin, which is what I would really like to see. And that's simply for the fact that they would have, a bigger time slot at Bash in Berlin than they would probably have on a Friday Night Smackdown. And I just think that this match needs a little bit of time to get going because we know what a team like the Bloodline and the Street Profits can do in the ring, and I think we're all here for that. We all want to see that. And the last thing that I'm going to say on this topic is, if by any chance anybody from booking ever sees this video, it is time for the Montez Ford singles push. We've been clamoring for this for 2 years. He is my personal favorite in-ring worker in the entire company. Just his whole entire character is one that I would love to see progress into something bigger. And Angelo Dawkins is also good. This is not saying that Street Profits isn't a good tag team, because in reality, they're an amazing tag team, and they've shown us the things that they can do. But just right now, I think we're in need of a Montez Ford singles push, whether they let him go up against a guy like Cody Rhodes, an LA Knight, a Braun Breaker, whoever they would want to put him in a feud with, it would be fine with me. Just let this guy sprout his wings a little bit and grow past this tag team scene that we've seen him in for so long. To stop rambling about that, because I'm just very passionate about that. I really am a big Montez Ford fan. But to stop rambling from that, let's talk about this Bloodline segment, man. We see Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa come out here, kind of just taunting Roman Reigns, saying, come out here, come out here. And we obviously see Roman come to the ring, and he easily takes out Solo and Tama Tonga, which, man, they really do make this Bloodline 2.0 version look super weak in doing this. But, we see Jacob Fatu come out and just, in a walking boot, I must say, come and take out Roman Reigns with ease. And this is why they were scared to introduce Jacob Fatu into this Bloodline 2.0 storyline, is they were scared he was going to overshadow Solo Sikoa, which flat out he is. More people are interested in what Jacob Fatu has to bring to the table than anybody else in this other Bloodline story, other than, of course, probably Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and The Rock. But, what can you say? That's a good problem to have. The fact that he's a 32-year-old superstar, he has time to grow with this company. We don't have to put all of our dice on Solo Sikoa, because we've tried with him for the last 3 years, two or 3 years, somewhere in that range, and it's just not working. It's just not connecting with, the general popularity of the fan. They're just not enjoying it. But it's good that they have a guy like Jacob Fatu that's keeping this storyline rolling and keeping this storyline, at the top of the headlines. Everybody wants to see what's next for the Bloodline. And what I think is next for the Bloodline is we're going to see Roman Reigns start to ask for help. Whether he starts off with asking Jimmy Uso to return, or he goes to Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, which I think is going to need a lot of convincing to get those two back on board after what he's done to them. But I think it's time for Roman to start recruiting help, and we could see this as early as maybe at the SmackDown after Bash in Berlin. I think they're going to keep Roman off the screen for a little bit after what just happened to him and Jacob Fatu after he just got taken triple powerbomb through a table. They're probably going to keep him off screen for a little bit. But yeah, it's time to start building the original Bloodline back up right after Bash in Berlin. And we need to build this thing all the way until Survivor Series. And those are kind of just my thoughts from last night's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and let me know what you guys thought about this video. And thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.